Welcome back, guys, to episode 6 of the Aether Revolt Set review. Today we'll be looking at the multicolored cards in the set. I'm Incredibad Gaming.
And I'm ZMagic94.
With that in mind, let's dive right in and look at the first card.
A Johnny Unyielding. 4 green, white. +2. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Put all non-land permanent cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of the library in any order. -2. Exile target creature. It's a controller gains life equal to its power. -9. Put 5 1/1 counters on each creature you control, and 5 loyalty counters on each planeswalker you control.
It's a planeswalker. I mean, in limited, you're gonna play every planeswalker you open. This thing will just close out games for you.
You don't even need the ultimate on this guy.
No, you just plus it and then minus it and remove all the creatures. What's there to say besides?
It starts with
does
6
everything
loyalty the first turn when you plus it.
Yep.
That's really good.
And it can come down and remove something. This thing is probably a 5. There's no way it's not a 5, right?
This is 100% a 5. Like, you play this card, you're winning the game. Like, if you're a little behind or at parity, you're just winning the game. If you're really behind, you're catching up. This card's insane.
Dark Imitations. 2, blue, black, and red. Sorcery. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, then discards a card. You return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand, then draw a card. When you cast a Bolas planeswalker spell, exile Dark Imitations from your graveyard. That planeswalker enters the battlefield with an additional loyalty counter on it. So this card is weird.
It's kind of like Cruel Ultimatum.
I don't think it's very good and limited because they're not really going to ever have a planeswalker. And sometimes they'll just have 1/1s that sacrifice, and they might have
I don't think we can cast it in limited.
No, yeah, I think this is like a point.
Although it does return a creature from your graveyard,
Which is those effects are generally not good in limited either, right? So I would say this thing's like a 0.5. You're never going to be playing blue and a black.
There's no Bolas planeswalkers in the set.
No, this is like a sideboard tech if they have a planeswalker.
It's
that's
really
what
hard
I would
to
say.
cast, though.
Obviously, it has more
Isn't it
impact
just a straight
outside the
0.5?
format. Yeah, it has more impact outside the format when they do start making a pull-off planeswalker spell. But
you
for
mean
now, it's
next
like a 0.5.
Hidden Stockpile. White and black. Enchantment, uncommon, revolt at the beginning of your end step. If a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, create a 1/1 servo artifact. 1, sacrifice a creature, scry. This is sweet because the servos replace themselves every single turn.
If you make servo, and if they don't attack, if there's a board stall, you just go, okay, end of turn, sacrifice this creature, scry one.
It's only your end step, it's not theirs, but...
Yeah, but you can still... Yeah, that's true.
Your main phase... your main phase, sack creature, scry, or even on your upkeep. Actually, you sack the servo from the last turn on your upkeep, scry, and then at your end step you just get another one.
Yep.
Or you just make a trade on the board, and then you get a servo.
Yep, I think this looks very good. It's 2 mana, so you can play it very early on. Obviously, it's hard to cast
enables
in
revolt,
black. And there's a lot of stuff that in white and in black that when an artifact enters the battlefield, something happens. Daredevil in Kaladesh. So, this thing is going to be very relevant. It's going to be very good in white-black. In white-black, you're generally going wide as well, so making servos and just being able to attack, very good. So, yeah, this thing's very good. I would probably rate it a 3.5, I would say. Maverick Thopterist. 3 colors, blue, red, improvise. When Maverick Thopterist enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. This thing is very good. Even at 5, it's good because you make basically... I'm saying even at 5 at its base, if you don't improvise anything, making 2 1/1 Thopters and a 2/2 for 5 is fine. But if you can play it on turn 4 or even turn 3, this thing is insane, right?
Do you think this guy's better than the uncommon from the last set?
The Whirlmaker?
The 03.
I think so. They're similar, but I think so because you can play this in turn 4. They might fit similar decks, obviously. This might be even more specific because it's blue-red, but with cards like Whirler Virtuoso and stuff like that. So... yeah, I think it's fine. I think that it's like a 3-ish. I don't think it's so broken.
I think you're being generous.
I don't think it's so broken. I don't think so. I think here's the thing, right? The uncommon from the last set was an 03. This being a 2/2, I think is way more relevant.
Because we can actually trade with stuff.
Yeah, this can actually trade with stuff, and you still get 2 Thopters with it. So so here's the thing: the 5 mana thing was generating 2 power, and 5 toughness. This is 4 power, 4 toughness for 5, and it can also be played at turn 4, which is still very good.
Oh, right. Okay, that's fair. I can see that. Oath of Ajani, green, white, legendary enchantment, just like all the other oaths. Rare. When Oath of Ajani enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Planeswalker spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. This card is awesome. I mean, it does stuff early, it does stuff late. It doesn't really do stuff early in limited, but it does pump your team in limited, and it's so good in green-white. It's an Anthem effect for 2, so you can just go like curve out, and then on turn 5, play a 3-drop, pump everything.
I think this thing is very good too. Looking at green, there's a lot of stuff that you put counters on. Even white has some stuff that you put counters on in both Kaladesh and Aether Revolt. So I think this thing is really good, even if you ignore the bottom half of the text, because the chance you have a Planeswalker is very low. This thing is great. I think it's like a 3.5. It's going to pump your whole board. Anthem effects are really good. So yeah. Outland Boar, 2 colorless, red, green. Outland Boar can be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. This seems pretty underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. Like a 4 mana 4/4 is good, but it doesn't have trample. I guess it doesn't get blocked by Thopters. You're probably gonna have to double block it if you don't something else. But there's enough big creatures going around that I think 4 power 4 toughness is good. But this thing isn't as great as everyone says. I think it's just good. I think it's a solid card.
I think this card's very strong. It's basically like half unblockable.
It can be, but if they have,
I think this is only a 2.
If they have a big creatures, a 2.
Oh, sorry, 2.5. 2.5.
Yeah, I put it between a 2.5 and a 3. Of the multicolored cards we've seen so far, I don't think I think it's one of the weaker ones.
I think it is one of the weaker ones, especially because you want green-black or green-white.
Yeah. There's some green-red energy stuff still going around, and the problem with this is that this doesn't fit the green-red energy archetype. So,
it's still really good with green counters, though, too.
Yeah, it just fits a weird...
It basically means he can't be chump blocked. That's what that text reads.
Yes.
So, like, servos can't block him. Renegade Rallier, 1 green, white. Creature, human warrior, uncommon, 3/2, revolt. When Renegade Rallier enters the battlefield, if a permanent or you controlled left the battlefield this turn, return targeted permanent card with converted mechanic cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card is actually just insane.
You're going to get back something most of the time.
This card is good, I think, in every format. I think it might actually see, like, vintage play.
I think in limited it's a 3.5, just because I don't know how many broken things are with 2 mana. You're gonna need something that's really, really good with 2 or less from your graveyard for this to be excellent. Otherwise, it's a 3 mana 3/2. Sometimes you bring like a 2/2 back, so it's like a 3 mana 5/4, which is crazy. But if you're playing it with Revolt, you're not playing it on turn 3. You're probably playing it on turn 4 or turn 5. So then it's a little more fair. It's still really good. It's still like a 3.5, maybe a 4. I don't think it is. Still really good. I think it just got more impact outside of limited than it does inside.
I think so too.
Renegade Wheelsmith. 1 red white. When Renegade Wheelsmith becomes tapped, target creature can't block this turn. It's a dwarf pilot. This thing is really, really good. It's worth the 3 mana 3/2, and if you have vehicles, using this to cruise, making something not be able to block is insane. I really like this. This is probably, for me, like a 3, a 3.5.
This card's so strong, red-white, because red-white is the vehicle deck. Red-white is, like, the deck that you don't want things to block. It's very aggressive. The vehicles are strong in that deck. You already have so many good pilots in those colors, because it's, like, the pilot colors. I think this card's super strong. What do you say, 3.5?
Yeah, I said 3.5. Sometimes maybe a 3. Sometimes maybe a 3 if you don't have vehicles, because it has 2 power. But even then,
still just attacks and makes something not be able to block.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Even then, it's still really good.
Rogue Refiner. 1 green, blue. Human Rogue, uncommon. When Rogue Refiner enters the battlefield, draw a card and you get 2 energy. 3/2. This is just the best card. How is this card really not... Like, okay, so it's green-blue, which is probably the worst combination of green.
But it gets better if you have this card.
Yeah, like, this is probably the least thing you want to pair green with in this set. But the card's just insane. It reminds me of Silky, or however you ever pronounce that. It's the alternate green-blue guard that draws a card. It's a 2/2.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that card. This card is so sweet. Yeah, this goes with the cycle. There's a whole like 1XX cycle or 1AB cycle, and the cycle is really sweet. This card is insane. It's a 3-mana 3/2. Awesome. It also draws the card. It replaces itself.
It's very good.
And
it's
it
very
also
good.
makes 2 energy you can use for your green stuff and your
Or
blue
blue
stuff.
stuff, yeah. So yeah, I give this like a 3.5.
Yeah.
Very good.
These
You're
are
gonna
very
want to
good
play this.
uncommons. Like, these are reasons to play the other color.
Yeah, most of them. Some of them have been okay, but this one is definitely a reason to play green blue. Yeah, very good. Fire Patrol, 2 colorless / just 2, white blue, human soldier flying. When Fire Patrol enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap deck. I really like this card. So it's a 4-mana 3/2 flyer plus
It's
it taps down a card.
Cloud Manta plus tap down, which is awesome.
Yes. So yeah, it's great. If you find a way to flicker this at all, it gets even better.
It's in
and
blue
white
light, which is the perfect flicker colors.
Yes. So this thing is very good. I would rate this another 3.5. You're gonna always probably want this. Flying for 3 powers, always good. Like I don't see where there's a
The
big
question
downside.
is it splashable?
Not like it's not as good as like a Cloud Blazer, I think. Cloud
If
Blazer
you're already
is
if you're playing green white, do you splash for this and a Cloud Blazer?
probably.
Tezzeret the Schemer, 2 blue black. He's a Planeswalker Tezzeret. He's a mythic rare. +1, create a colorless artifact token named Ethereum Cell with tap. Sacrifice this artifact. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. -2, target creature gets +X -X until end of turn, where X is the number of artifacts you control. -7, you get an emblem that says at the beginning of your combat on your turn, tap target. Oh my gosh! Target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 5/5. Not as good as like traditional Tezzeret, my baby.
Yeah, I don't even know he's good as a Johnny.
He's not good in limited, really.
He's 4 mana. He's 4 mana.
Doesn't protect himself.
It's cheap. If you're playing blue-black in limited, you're probably going to be playing artifacts. So I mean, like
you first pick him, but
essentially, if you have 3 artifacts, you give anything you want -3, which could kill a lot of stuff. If you have 4, you're killing almost everything.
You pick him. I'm just saying he's not super exciting.
I still think he's not like what we rated a Johnny a 5. I'd rate him a 4, to be honest. He's still pretty good. Like almost
I don't
any
think he's a
Planeswalker is
4
good.
because he
Really?
doesn't have card advantage.
That's true, but he does ramp you, and he does make his own artifacts, right? So if you make enough Ethereum cells, right, eventually his -2 becomes better, right? So he can be like +1. He can be just 3 or 4 removal spells for 4 mana, which is insanely good. So it's still very good. And I agree with you, he's no 5, and that's why I'm putting him at a 4, because if you can cast his -2 multiple times for 4 mana, that's pretty good. Sure. I would generally do that.
I think it's like a 3.5, actually.
Tezzeret's Touch. 1 blue-black. He's an enchantment. You enchant an artifact. Enchanted artifact is a creature with a base power and toughness 5/5 in addition to its other types. When the enchanted artifact is put into a graveyard, return that card to its owner's hand. So this is an interesting card because you can put it on your own artifacts.
It's an Soul Artifact.
Yes, basically. But you could, and Soul Artifact allows you to really take other people's ones, and then you could, they have to discard cards to get it back. This is a little cheaper.
What are you talking about? That's not in Soul Artifact.
I'm thinking of another card, am I?
No, you're talking. Yeah, this is just it's Soul Artifact that for an additional black mana gets back to the thing. This is very good. It's just not a 2-for-1. Okay, so the only time you get 2-for-1 when you play this is when it's going to resolve. Once it resolves onto the creature, you don't get 2-for-1 anymore.
No, but sometimes if you don't have an artifact to put it on too, it's not great. Like if you put it on a servo, it feels really bad.
Oh yeah, sure. I think in limited it's not amazing, but
no, I think it's like a 3 to be honest, maybe a 2.5 to be honest. I'm not super impressed with it. I think enchantment just leads to too many blowouts.
This is stupid with Copter and Standard though. Weldfast Engineer, 1 black red creature, human artificer, uncommon, 3/3. At the beginning of your combat, your turn, target artifact you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. This is really good.
This thing is really, really good. If you're playing black-red, you're probably playing black-red artifacts, and this thing is insane. Giving something
really
to...
It's an artificer.
Yes.
It's a 3/3.
Giving something to... Yep. Giving something +2/+0. A lot of stuff. This is like definitely another reason to play black-red artifacts.
I really like this card a lot.
I give this like a 3.5, to be honest.
Yeah.
Winding Constrictor. Black-green. If one or more counters be placed on an artifact you control, that many of those counters +1 are placed on that permanent instead. If you get 1 or more counters, you get that many of those counters +1 instead. So this thing it is insane, right? I've talked about a lot of how green has a lot of good counter makers.
It's a 2/3 for 2 that just is
Yes.
ridiculous. The green has so many counter makers. Black has so many counter makers.
And the thing about green too is green has a lot of multi-creature counter makers. So you put
The 5-drop?
5 mana 5/5, yeah, or the 4 mana instant that puts things on +1/+1 counters. You would get another one, right, on all of those. Like this thing just adds up. This thing is crazy good. This thing is probably I probably rate this like a 4, just because it passes the vanilla test, and then it's so good in the archetype that it's built into that it's just insane.
It's also cool in other formats because it's a counter. It's not just +1 counters. It's any counter on any artifact or creature. So like if you go back to like cool interactions like in casual play, you can go to charge counters and then like the Mirrodin block, scars block. It actually does additional scars. It actually does additional charge counters, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of cool interactions it's gonna have outside of limited in any format, I think. But yeah, this thing is very good. So those are the multicolored cards. What did you think of them? I thought they were very powerful. I thought a lot of them were 3.5s and above, as we saw, and they fit into a lot of their archetypes very well.
I think they were like way more powerful than I thought they were going to be. Because I looked at them initially, but I didn't really look at all the monocolored cards. And then looking at all the monocolored cards and going through all them first, and then going to the multicolored cards, I saw how much like the power level average on the multicolored cards was insane.
Yeah, it felt like that the average multicolored card is going to be very good, and you're definitely going to want to see them in your draft. And there's a lot less multicolored cards in Kaladesh, so it seems to be more here that fit into different archetypes, and all of them do what you need to do in their different archetypes. So the multicolored cards are generally good, and if you're drafting and you see them and they're in your archetype, take them because you're generally going to want them. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 6, the multicolored section of the Aether Revolt Set review. Once again, I've been Incredibad Gaming.
And I've been ZMagic94.
And if you like what you saw, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter at Incredibad_game or on Twitch at Incredibad_gaming.
And you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at ZMagic94. And if you like this content and want great content just like it, check out teamnfgbot.com.
With that in mind, stay tuned for episode 7 where we look at the artifacts and land in the Aether Revolt set. So I'll see you guys next time.